Why is it that when some people implement the carnivore diet, fat just seems to fall out of their pockets? And then for other people, they struggle to lose any weight at all, or they plateau and can't progress any further. Putting aside the most obvious thing, which is just when people aren't really following the diet, there is one clear difference between these two groups of people, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. If you're new here, my name is Marcus. I've successfully lost 60 pounds, and I've been helping busy folks lose fat and get healthy for 12 years now. Let's get into it. There is only one food group that is found in nature with appreciable amounts of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And this food is literally designed to take small animals and turn them into bigger animals. And it is the number one thing that either stops or stalls fat loss on the carnivore diet. And this happens for three primary reasons. What is this food? It's dairy. And here's why. If someone said to you that they give you $100 for every quarter-pound burger patty that you ate, would you opt for regular burger patties or would you go for burger patties with cheese on them? Easy decision, right? The cheeseburgers, because the dairy increases the palatability of the beef, which is just a fancy way of saying that it makes it taste better via added flavor and texture. The most interesting thing about this little thought experiment is that we can eat more cheeseburgers than we can regular burgers. Yet the cheeseburgers are higher in caloric content, meaning in certain instances, adding more calories to our meals via dairy can make us eat even more calories, which is completely counterintuitive, right? Because we tend to think that adding more calories to our meals makes us feel proportionately more full. But with dairy specifically, it can actually be the opposite, which is pretty fascinating when you think about it. Palate fatigue is just a sciencey term for eating a certain food and getting to a point where you just don't want any more of it. Let's use pork rinds as an example. You're at your friend's house munching on pork rinds and you get to a point where you just don't want any more. You're good, you're full, you're done. And then your friend says, oh, I totally forgot. I have sour cream in the fridge. I'll go grab it. And all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, you're dipping more pork rinds in the sour cream and eating a bunch more. I'll put my hand up because I've been there many a time. Changing the palate experience allows us to override our satiation signals to a degree. And this makes it easier for us to eat more, even though we're not actually hungry. Dairy is extremely convenient in the sense that we typically don't have to really prepare it in order to eat it. Because whether it's cheese, butter, yogurt, cream, or milk, it's in the fridge just ready for consumption. Whereas something like steak requires cooking. And I don't know about you, but if I think to myself, am I truly hungry enough right now to cook a steak? Versus, could I nibble on some cheese? I mean, I could pretty much always nibble on some cheese. But I've really got to want the beef in order to go through the process of cooking it. Now, sometimes you see carnivore folks biting bricks of butter. And if you digest it well and your primary goal is to heal some sort of health issue, that might potentially serve you. But if your goal is fat loss, butter is probably not a choice that is really going to serve you because it's not all that filling and it's really calorie dense. For example, if we compare 500 calories of eggs with 500 calories of butter, the eggs are going to fill you up exponentially more. The same goes for something like cheese. Cheese is not all that filling per unit of energy. So when fat loss is a priority, you might want to strongly consider at least limiting your dairy consumption, or possibly even eliminating it for say 2 to 4 weeks and seeing how your body responds. Now, if you can't fathom the idea of cutting back on your dairy consumption, you can substitute in lesser fat options. However, just make sure that these substitutions don't contain any funky ingredients in them and that you don't just eat that much more of them to the point where it doesn't actually reduce your calorie intake, because that defeats the entire purpose. The real take-home points here are that dairy does an incredible job of increasing food palatability, simultaneously decreasing palate fatigue, and it's super convenient. Meaning, for a lot of folks, dairy is actually an incredible way to gain weight, or at the very least, stop or stall your progress. Feel free to thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you like this video, I think you might like this one too. I'll catch you in the comments.